Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Javalia, coffee that helps to awaken what's brewing inside. Now, I love me a cup of coffee. Every morning I have my little coffee ritual. I love cupping my little mug and thinking about what I'm going to be doing for the day. It's a great way for me to think introspectively and also just to savor my hot cup of coffee. Love that time, and I love it when inspiration strikes. So the other day while I was having my coffee, I was just thinking, how many other ways are there to have coffee besides just black, which I have every morning? And so, because as you know, I am so driven by my curiosity, I went and started researching this, and there are so many wonderful international ways to have coffee. So many ways I have never heard of and never explored. So today, with the help of Javalia, I'm going to awaken what's brewing inside and explore 3 international recipes for coffee, none of which I have tried. But I am so excited about this because first we're going to start with my little home state of Rhode Island. Technically, I'm not from Rhode Island. I actually grew up in California, but I've lived here long enough where I feel like I'm a bit of a little roadie. But I know you Rhode Islanders will say I'm not technically a Rhode Islander, but that's fine. Well, this would probably also be a case in point because I have never had a coffee cabinet. What is a coffee cabinet? So coffee cabinet is a classic Rhode Island treat that's essentially a milkshake that's made with coffee, syrup, ice cream, and milk. It's all blended together in a beautiful milkshake style consumed, and I am imagining it's going to be absolutely delicious. You can find it locally everywhere. Every little diner, every little place you can get a coffee cab. You can also get a coffee milk, and it's typically made with a ubiquitous coffee syrup that you can find all over Rhode Island, but anywhere else it is pretty difficult to find. So I'm going to show you how to make a homemade version, and then we're going to make ourselves a coffee cab. I can't wait. On hot days like this, it sounds absolutely perfect. Javalia's beans are slow roasted and snap cooled to release aroma and flavor. So I took 8 tablespoons of Javalia's house blend coffee and I poured over 1.5 cups of boiling water. I let that brew for a few minutes, pressed the grounds, and then added that to a saucepan along with 1 cup of sugar. We're going to bring this up to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer and allow it to simmer for 15 minutes. You want to stir it in between because this has a lot of sugar in it. We don't want to burn it. So after 15 minutes, the mixture will have thickened, and then we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now cool this off to room temperature and then place it in the refrigerator to allow it to cool completely. So that's it. Our coffee syrup is completed. Take some vanilla ice cream. It's probably about a cup of ice cream. To that, we're going to add a generous drizzle of our coffee syrup. So that's 2 heaping tablespoons of coffee syrup. And now I'm gonna add some milk and use your discretion. If you like a milkshake thicker, then add less milk. If you like it a little bit runnier, add more milk. I like it sort of in between. So I'm gonna add a splash and see where that goes. Make sure your lid's on completely because last time I made the mistake of not doing that. All right, here we go. All right, let's buzz this up. All right, pour it in. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, my first taste of a coffee cabinet. Here we go. Cheers. Oh. So good. It's drinkable coffee ice cream. It's so delicious. The coffee flavor is strong and bright. It tastes true. It's sweet and creamy and icy cold. Perfect for this hot, muggy summer day. Oh my gosh! As far as the etymology of a coffee cabinet, some people believe that the milkshake was originally made in something that was like a cabinet, so it was called a coffee cabinet. I have used store-bought coffee syrup to make coffee milk before, and to me, this is infinitely better. The coffee flavor is so much more intense and prominent and forward and just so scrumdiddlyumptious. So now that I've had my dessert, let's head over to Senegal to have a Café Touba. Now, a Café Touba is named after Touba, a city in Senegal, and in Arabic it means happiness. And I decided to make this coffee because it contains an ingredient I've never heard of. And the ingredient goes by many names. In Wolof, it's called jar. It's also known as saline peppercorns or grains of paradise. What a beautiful name. So essentially, Café Touba is a spiced coffee. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare our grains of paradise by toasting them. So on a hot griddle, we're going to toast 1 heaping teaspoon of grains of paradise and 2 cloves. So gently toast the spices until you begin to smell the aroma. We're going to grind them up in my mortar and pestle. Add them to here. Gently grind them up. I wish you could smell this combination of spice. It smells lemony, kind of nutmeggy, and the clove just smells autumnal. It smells fantastic. Okay, we're gonna grind this up. 2 heaping scoops of coffee, along with my ground grains of paradise and clove. It smells amazing already. Alrighty, my first taste of Café Touba. Here we go. Cheers. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's lovely. The grains of paradise have a beautiful lemony, cardamom-y, almost lemongrassy flavor to them, very citrusy, which pairs really nicely with the slight acidity of the coffee. So great. The clove adds some warmth and some spice that's familiar, yet not. It's just enough in there to kind of spice things up without overpowering the coffee. You definitely still taste the coffee. It's just enhanced with this bit of spice. So nice. Now for my final coffee, we're gonna head over to Korea, where this coffee was served in a Dabang, or a coffee tea house. So a Dabang is a little bit different than a coffee house that you would find here in the States. It's a place that you would hang out and kind of linger and stay while enjoying your coffee or your tea. Now the coffee I'm gonna be making is called a morning coffee, and it was considered more of an energy drink because it contains an egg yolk. Not only an egg yolk, but a pinch of salt, a pine nut, and a little bit of sesame oil. Sounds absolutely fascinating. I'm so intrigued and I have to know what it tastes like. 2 spoons of coffee. While the coffee is brewing, let's go ahead and separate our egg yolk. I'm gonna gently scoop the egg yolk out of there. Beautiful. Have you ever had pine nuts before? I absolutely love these. I used to have a pet mouse when I was in college. His name was Ralph, and he loved pine nuts. They're so good. They have a slight resinous flavor to them, and they're very sweet and rich. The flavor reminds me a little bit of macadamia nuts. So I think what I'm gonna do is put everything on my egg, and then we'll just slip the egg into the hot coffee. Just a little sprinkling of salt, a couple drops of sesame oil, and a few pine nuts. And then to our coffee, we're gonna add our egg yolk. And there is the beautiful yolk. Isn't it gorgeous? Now I read sometimes people enjoy just the coffee alone and then have the egg yolk at the end, and others would blend it in. So let's just give it a sip with the egg separate first and then give it a blend. Alrighty, here we go. Cheers. Huh. Interesting. I thought the sesame oil would overpower the coffee, but it doesn't. It just adds a little bit of nuttiness. Now, sesame oil has a very strong, almost kind of hoppy, resinous smell to it. And it's not that present. I'm so surprised. It goes well with the coffee, surprisingly. And I find that the bitterness of the coffee is toned down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and work the egg into there. It's almost like I added creamer to that. Alrighty, let's give that a taste. Here we go. The egg yolk definitely changes the viscosity of the coffee, definitely makes it thicker. And morning coffee is definitely an appropriate name for this coffee because it tastes a little bit like breakfast. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, there you have it. 3 international ways to have coffee. Thank you so much for watching, and big thanks to Javalia for sponsoring this video. Find Javalia at your local supermarket to awaken whatever is brewing inside. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye. Da la da da la.